is definitely going to be a big problem. Good afternoon, I'm Nigel Robertson.
And I'm Jane Robelo, and we are bringing you a special edition of WYFF News 4, keeping an eye on this major winter storm that is heading our way.
Now, this newscast runs until 4:30 ahead of kickoff for the Bengals-Raiders NFL playoff game. We will bring you that game live.
We will not rob you of that pleasure today. Let's go outside, though. Let's take a look at Boone, North Carolina. This is a beautiful town high in the North Carolina mountains, expected to get a foot or more of snow.
Yes, and in the upstate, ice, a major concern. This is a live look now from our Hilton Greenville Skycam. You can see people are out there doing what they need to do before this winter weather arrives. And we have team coverage of this winter weather as it heads this way, and we will keep you updated throughout the storm. Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice is tracking the latest. Now, Chris, depending on where you live is what you're going to get, right?
Yeah, ice, my big concern here across the majority of the upstate, with a specific area I'm going to hone in on in just a second. But look at our live cam from Hendersonville. This is our Champion Hills sky cam here. We've seen flurries starting to show up here, just kind of a precursor or appetizer, if you will. And those temperatures are cold enough that we'll start to see more of that this evening. Some flurries, some sleet, even in the upstate. But it won't amount to much until this arrives right here. This is the bulk of the moisture that will arrive between 9 p.m. and midnight. And with temperatures only cooling from here on out, this is going to start out as a lot of snow across the area here. And this is a big winter storm heading our way. A look a little bit closer, our very own live Super Doppler 4 HD. It's great at tracking severe weather. It tells us where those storms are instantly, but it also tells me when rain has transitioned to ice or snow instantly as well. I'm seeing some flurries, some light snow showers across northern Oconee County. Our air still very dry, so it's going to take some time for that to moisten up, and I think it'll happen between 9 and midnight. Here's the way this is going to shake out as we go into 11 o'clock. Some of that moisture moving on in, and it starts out as snow for the majority of us, and then it transitions to ice. This pink right here is a mixture of sleet and freezing rain. That snow that you had earlier might be enough to coat the ground. Then you get ice on top of it, and that makes it an ice rink. That's my concern here, especially with sleet being more of a substance for that freezing rain to grip onto. That could really make things really dicey across a large part of the upstate here. And snow just continues across Asheville and Hendersonville, where you're going to see substantial snow. We're talking about the majority of this system since you saw midnight there. Now we're at 10 hours of snow in Asheville and Hendersonville. You're ticking up some totals really quickly. 10, 12 inches, not out of the question. And then the ice starts to retreat, and we'll see snow on the backside of this for most areas. This will taper off rather quickly into the afternoon and evening hours, but it'll be good for some additional accumulation across parts of the area. So think snow, ice, and then snow on the back end. The ice potential really concerning me here, folks. I've got a V right here, basically from Anderson County, stretching up through Greenville's east side, through Lawrence, Spartanburg, and Cherokee County. That ice could be substantial. And with the wind that I'm seeing here, 30, 40, even 50 miles per hour tomorrow between 8 a.m. and noon, that could bring down trees, power lines with the wet, heavy snow and the ice on it. I've got brand new totals I want to show you here in just a few minutes, and I'll have that for you coming up.
Chris, thank you very much. As Chris has been saying, your location depends on what type of weather you will be seeing in the next 24 hours. Our Griffin Hardy is live in downtown Greenville with a closer look at what the winter storm warning and ice warnings actually are.
Yeah, that's right, Nigel. We have a really large viewing area across the upstate in western North Carolina and northeast Georgia. You know, a lot of us under a winter storm warning, but the criteria for that is a little bit different depending on where you are. And of course, we have the ice storm warning further south. So let's go over that winter storm warning in a little bit more detail. So up in the mountains, we're looking at all snow and heavy snow at times. In the valleys, places like Asheville, Hendersonville, where the more populated places are, we could see as much as 6 to 10 inches of snow. At the base of the mountains, that's going to be more like 8 to 12 inches. And then anywhere above 4,000 feet, that could be as much as 12 to 20 inches of snow in total. Then you move further south to the upstate. It's still a winter storm warning with a heavy mix of precipitation. We'll start with snow, then we'll switch back to sleet and freezing rain tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow afternoon another round of snow comes in. And with that, we could be looking at 2 to 4 inches along and just south of I-85. And then as you move north, those totals are going to go up towards places like Travelers Rest and closer to that North South Carolina state line. It'll be more like 3 to 6 inches. And still within that winter storm warning, we could see, a 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of ice accumulation on top of the snow that we get. So the impacts will definitely still be felt all across the upstate as well. And then, of course, the ice storm warning, that's where we're really going to have to hone in on. Places further south like Lawrence, Greenwood, Union County, Cherokee County could get as much as 4/10 of an inch of ice accumulation. So the main takeaways here, they could start as early as 10 p.m. Those road conditions will be deteriorating starting tomorrow morning. So if you don't need to be on the roads, we strongly advise against traveling anytime during the day tomorrow. We'll have more updates for you coming up next in the next couple of minutes. For now, reporting live from downtown Greenville, meteorologist Griffin Hardy, WYFF News 4.
Griffin, thank you. Well, utility crews are on their way to Spartanburg County, and that's where we find Renee Wunderlich. Continuing our live team coverage tonight ahead of this storm. They getting ready there, Renee?
They are, Jane, and I've got to be honest, it's a little chilly, but things aren't too bad right now. It's the calm before the storm. Take a look at the roads and you can see that right now they're clear, but that's going to be a different story possibly later tonight. And that's what we're warning you about. I understand it can be a little alarming when folks are looking ahead, but the reality is we could be looking at a lot of ice on these roads, and that's why we're telling you to stay home if you can. We're out here so you don't have to be. Safety is the most important thing. So as we look and hear from other people getting ready for those emergency crews, if they are needed later tonight, we want to make sure that you are informed. So again, it's clear, it's not too cold in Spartanburg, but that could change, and it could change quickly. So for now, live here in Spartanburg, Renee Wunderlich, WYFF News 4.
And we'll be there when it changes, Renee. Thank you. And just into the newsroom, Clemson University announcing it will be closed tomorrow because of the winter storm. University officials say the main campus and upstate campus will all be closed.
Right now, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper is urging people across the state to prepare for what will be significant impacts.
Hadn't already, now is the time to get prepared. This storm's a menace. As much as a foot of snow is expected to fall in the mountains and foothills and in central North Carolina.
And Governor Cooper has already declared a state of emergency. He says he's activated 200 National Guard soldiers to help in storm response.
Now in Asheville, road crews have been pre-treating those streets with salt brine. The city of Asheville says that crews will be ready to begin snow removal operations just as soon as that becomes necessary. The Asheville Fire Department saying it has plans in place also to make sure that they are ready to respond to any emergency.
The Asheville Fire Department, we have plans in place. We'll have chains on, and we're used to running emergency in hazardous conditions. But again, it puts our personnel at risk as well. So we highly recommend people just try to stay off the roads, and that will reduce our emergency calls and will keep our firefighters safe as well.
Now, that's not just staying off the roads for driving. People are also being asked to stay off street parking during any snow event because that helps the crews clear the streets more efficiently. In response to that, they're opening city garages in the Central Business District. Those are open free to the public, so that's where you can park.
Now to Georgia, where Governor Brian Kemp is also telling people there to get ready. Parts of the state bracing for its first major snowfall in nearly 4 years.
We're mobilizing and prepared to deploy resources as needed to protect our state, but also be ready to assist neighboring states if needed. The main message to my fellow Georgians is just be winter weather aware this weekend.
Officials say roads in northeast Georgia may be hit the hardest. The winter storm watch has already been issued for that part of the state.
Now, we've heard the governors talking about it, and Duke Energy confirms they estimate about 750,000 of their customers alone could lose power in both Carolinas. But the power company says it is ready to respond. The company says they have more than 10,000 response workers ready to begin power restorations. 4,100 of those workers are from other companies in other states, some as far away as Texas and Oklahoma. Now, ahead of the storm, Corporate Communications Director Ryan Mosier warns that high winds could pose some delays to restoring power.
If it's as windy as we think it might be, we can't operate those buckets in those kind of conditions. So our biggest message right now to customers is just to understand that we are there and we're going to be there, but it may take a little bit longer than you want. It's cold, we get it, we want your power back on. We want it back on too.
And so Duke Energy advising customers be prepared to be without power for as long as 2 days in areas that are hardest hit by the ice. But again, they do have extra crews in place and on standby. Lawrence Electric also telling WYFF News 4 they too have additional crews ready to stand by and help, some from as far away as Alabama and Louisiana.
Now, throughout this weekend, SCDOT crews will be on the road around the clock. Additional crews and equipment have made their way to the upstate from the coast to help out with this winter weather. Workers have placed multiple layers of pre-treatment on the roads already. And when the frozen weather comes, they say they can treat with salt and brine. SCDOT says the best thing for the roads is more snow and less ice.
Salt brine will melt anything. But as our workers say, it's easier to push snow off the road than to scrape ice.
And for those areas that do end up with more ice, DOT has 60,000 tons of salt to add to roads in areas that need more than the pre-treatment.
Well, the city of Greenville is offering free parking in city garages today, Sunday, and Monday because parking will not be allowed on Main Street. Again, that way crews can safely clear those roadways. South Carolina state troopers are preparing to work several weather-related wrecks this weekend. And if you do have to get out on the roads this weekend and you find yourself in icy conditions, troopers do have some tips for you. They say, first of all, drive slowly and then increase the distance between yourself and the car in front of you by as much as 10 to 15 lengths. If you do get in trouble, do not slam on your brakes. Try to stop slowly. And if you find yourself on the interstate and in trouble, there are a few ways to get help.
They can call Star HP, Star 47. They can call 911. If they know a tow truck service and there's no property damage, they don't necessarily have to call us. They can call that tow truck service.
So do make sure that your phone is fully charged and that you have warm clothes and food in case you do get stranded.
And you want to take extra steps to make sure you heat your home properly. It is not safe to turn on your oven or stove for heat. Only use electric space heaters that have automatic shutoff switches. Keep them away from any flammable materials like curtains or blankets and avoid using extension cords to plug into your space heater. And make sure you have extra blankets, sleeping bags, and winter coats on hand in case you lose power.
And if you do plan on going outside, whether that's to shovel snow or to play with the kids, here are some health tips that you need to keep in mind. Stay dry because wet clothing will chill your body a lot more quickly. Also, excess sweating will cause your body to lose more heat. So be sure to take off those extra layers of clothes whenever you begin to feel too warm. And don't ignore it when your body starts to shiver because they say that is the first sign that your body's losing heat. And breathing in cold, dry air can also trigger asthma attack.
For more on the weather forecast, you can always visit the weather section of our website, WYFF4.com, and the WYFF4 app. You can get weather alerts the moment they are issued live and live active radar so you can track the storm as it moves into your neighborhood.
And while we're preparing for snow and ice right here, the West Coast is dealing with a tsunami watch. Those details coming up.
And live Super Doppler 4 HD starting to show more of that wintry mix moving into the upstate in western North Carolina. All this light and not concerning to me yet. 9 p.m. and beyond, that's when it starts to accumulate. Coming up, I'll map out how much your town will see.
We do have some breaking news out of Texas. There is a hostage situation developing right now at a synagogue just outside of Dallas. This was the scene just moments ago in Colleyville. Police say a man took people hostage during services. It is unclear if anyone has been hurt. The service was being live streamed at the time. That stream has since been taken down. We will continue to follow this breaking news story and give you an update as they come in.
Well, while we are dealing with snow and ice, the West Coast under a tsunami advisory. A volcano in Tonga erupted overnight. That's in the South Pacific. This is what the eruption looked like from a satellite. That sparked a tsunami warning for Tonga and for American Samoa. Hawaii, Alaska, and the west coast of the continental U.S. all put under a tsunami advisory, meaning that at least a big wave is on the way. Experts don't expect any major damage, but beaches and piers are closed across the Southern California as a precaution.
Now to Lawrence County, where the coroner has identified a victim in an overnight crash. Troopers say it happened on US 76 near Danny Lee Drive at 9:50 p.m. The coroner says 19-year-old Christopher Evans died at the scene. Troopers say Evans was traveling east when he crossed the center line and hit another car head on. They say a passenger from the other car was flown to the hospital. No word on their condition.
An earthquake was reported this morning in South Carolina. The U.S. Geological Survey saying that it happened around 6 a.m. near Elgin, a 1.79 magnitude. Now, several earthquakes have occurred near this area in the past 2 weeks.
Here's a look at our winter storm moving into the southeast, set to impact us with ice and snow. And it's not the only winter storm I'm tracking for us over the next week. I'll map out storm number 2 in just a few minutes. A winter storm on the way. I've been watching our Hendersonville Skycam at Champion Hills, and there have been some snowflakes there and starting to become a bit more common as this arm of moisture moves into our area. This is kind of a precursor. We'll get some extra activity over the next couple of hours, but this is the main ball game, folks. This moves in between 9 p.m. and midnight and will bring with it ice and snow to the area. And until this low moves over our area late tomorrow, we're going to have wintry weather all across the area here. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of what. You're going to either see ice or snow or a mixture of both, and I'm getting very concerned about the ice totals that I'm seeing here. A wintry mixture across northern Oconee County, northern Raven County, Walhalla down to Hartwell, Toccoa, Anderson, and Greenville. You may see some sleet, some light rain. They won't amount to very much. It's later tonight that the 9 p.m. to midnight time frame, that moisture begins to knock on the door and becomes widespread. Yes, while we're sleeping tonight, it'll likely start off as snow, and that will likely accumulate in many areas, especially the mountains to the I-85 corridor. But that's not it, folks. By 7, 8 a.m., that's when we transition from that snow. If you still find snowflakes at 7 a.m., count yourself as lucky, because it will not be a pretty situation across a good bit of the upstate. As we're not talking snow, we're talking freezing rain. And with a base of even a little bit of sleet or snow, that'll create an ice rink across the area, just coating everything with ice. And that continues, as you saw, from 7 a.m. We've got 3 straight hours of what looks to be moderate to heavy freezing rain. That continues through about 11 a.m. when snow starts to move back into the picture as we cool down from the top layers of the atmosphere, and we're all snow again. At this point, between 1, 2, 3 and 4 o'clock, this will be intermittent snow and good for a little bit more accumulation in some areas, especially along I-85 northbound. And that's when things start to shut down in the upstate around 9 or 10 o'clock tomorrow. In the mountains, it'll be until midnight, and then this storm is in the books. I think this is going to be remembered as more of an ice event across the upstate. Do know that when you wake up tomorrow and through the day, this may look a lot different than what you're imagining. A winter storm is going to impact the entire viewing area, but it will likely be ice in areas along I-85 and south, and I'm becoming more concerned about this area that's in a V basically right here. Areas of Spartanburg, Greenville, Anderson County, right in here, you're cool enough at layers of the atmosphere that I think right here at the base where we're wedged in with that cold air, that this is going to be a big time ice event for east side of Greenville, Lawrence, Spartanburg into Cherokee County with upwards of a ½ an inch of ice possible. That will be a bad situation for power lines and for trees and the roads, especially with the winds that I'll show you in just a minute. So remember, that's our ice right there. Let me show you the snow. Because we're expecting more ice, remember, the more ice you get, the less snow you get. I'm thinking we'll get a dusting to as much as an inch of snow in the southern part of the upstate. That is combined with sleet. Now, you may not see very much at all there because the freezing rain may mix in with that and everything's just glazed over. So don't be deceived by that. That can be dangerous if you step outside. As much as 1 inch from Greenville to Spartanburg to northern Anderson County, up to 3 inches of snow. But again, that ice taking over in a big form. And notice here, we go from a dusting in southern Greenville County to as much as 6 to 12 inches in the northern part of the county. That's what this storm does and why that gradient goes up big time. Yeah, there could be some big time snow amounts here on the southern and eastern facing slopes of the mountains there in South Carolina up toward North Carolina, with more than a foot likely from Bear Wallow Mountain up through eastern Buncombe County up toward McDowell, Yancey, and Avery counties. Wind gusts. This is my concern here. You coat some trees with some wet snow and possibly some sleet, freezing rain. The gusts here, I haven't seen a 50 on the models until last night. Now I'm starting to see a 60 here and there. A high-resolution model that updates every couple of hours. This is some dangerous wind, folks, on top of that already coated tree action. This is storm number 1. It moves through our area and out as we go into the early part of the week. Storm number 2 possible. Yeah, the models unfortunately have been showing this for about 2 days now, with a front moving through on Thursday, really cooling us down. Highs only in the 30s on Friday, and another wave of moisture spills into our area. It looks like snow could break out next Friday and Saturday. We'll keep you posted on that. 4-day looks like this. A snow and ice storm, 29 degrees tomorrow. As we go into Monday, yes, we'll get some melting underway, but 18 degrees our low going into Tuesday morning. That will refreeze over a lot of the roads in many areas that are impacted by this winter storm. We're in the 40s through Thursday, but then we cool down with a wintry mix possible Friday and Saturday. Still ironing that one out. We'll watch it closely. For the mountains, a significant snow event here with highs in the 20s. Watching that system number 2 Friday and Saturday.
Well, of course, this is a very significant and serious event, but, you know, we're telling you about all of that, but there's one little tiny thing we have to tell you about, too, and that's that some people are really excited about the possibility of snow.
Yeah, we caught up with some students at Foothills Community School in McDowell County, North Carolina, who are excited for the snow.
We haven't had snow for a while, so it's like, yeah, or we have, but it's more like slush or like just plain ice. So yeah, I'm excited to see if like we have something to like slide down on a hill or something to be able to like get on our sled.
He said he'd even have fun shoveling the driveway. I hope his dad wrote that down. Remember?
I was
Here's
thinking
the shovel.
that exact same
Get out
thing.
there. Also, there's no school on Monday because it's Dr. Martin Luther King holiday, but also I don't think they'd be getting out on the roads anyway.
No, be sure to tune in to WYFF News 4 for any school delays or closings on Tuesday. And of course, the news is on 24/7 online at WYFF4.com. All right.
Let's give Chris the final word here.
I tell you what, we're going to be watching this closely, and our commitment to you throughout the game tonight. I'll be cutting in, not over the game. You won't miss a second of the game tonight, but we'll have those updates where we can here to get you up to date on when the snow starts to transition over. And really tomorrow, if you don't have to travel, just stay at home if you can. That's what we're urging people. And prepare now for power outages. Have a way to stay warm, but have a safe way to stay warm. That's where we get into trouble with these type of events. Kerosene heaters, carbon monoxide. Just have a way to bundle up, have some batteries ready in case those power outages do come to us. Tomorrow morning, the big time frame for that. We'll keep you posted, folks.
We will be here watching it all, and thank you for watching this special edition of WYFF News 4. Remember, we're always on WYFF4.com and right on your cell phone on the WYFF4 app.
Make sure you have that app and keep your attention to the screen for rolling updates on the winter storm. And be sure to join us tonight at 11 o'clock for a 1-hour special. Now enjoy the game.